gaming should not be nearly as stressful as it is. I'm just trying to relax and have a good time. How many upcoming games do you want to play? And how many games that are already out? And while we're at it, how many from the game subscription services you're paying for? Think about that for a second. In this supposed golden age of gaming with incredible titles coming out nearly every month, it comes with a surprising amount of stress in tow. I, for one, am tired of this stress. And this brings me to my question of the day. What does it mean to be intentional with games? When I consider what living intentionally even means, I look at it as designing and creating a balance that works for me. I'm still working on it, but I know that I have made some questionable choices with games in the past that would definitely not be in alignment with my current goals, like letting a backlog dictate my life. As soon as the games I want to play start to feel like work, I know I've taken a wrong turn somewhere. It's no longer about the joy of play, but about hard metrics and progress toward the end. Games can be a substantial time investment, and if your genre of choice is JRPGs like mine is, some titles can easily creep up on 100 hours. I am but one person, and I can only commit to playing so many games. But everywhere I look, I see options and options and more options. And it quickly shifts from, wow, what a wonderful time to be alive, to the paradox of choice and analysis paralysis. So not the dream. We're constantly pulled in what feels like a million different directions as the industry goes all out to get our attention. Making a single purchase decision, or even picking what game to play from the ones we already have access to, can feel far too important. I suddenly have to track release dates, prices, and expected playtimes for half a dozen games before I can just choose one to play. It's draining. And I think this is a major source of the stress I feel sometimes. This is a weird problem. And I imagine I'm not alone here. This topic has been tumbling around in my brain for a good while now, and it just keeps expanding in scope. I doubt I'll be able to cover every single nuance of it here, so if you have your own ideas about the subject, please do leave them in the comments. Game subscription services are simultaneously one of the greatest and worst options out there. Many offer incredible value for your money, giving you instant access to a wide catalog of titles. That's pretty great. They also give you instant access to a wide catalog of titles. Good luck choosing. The big three these days are Game Pass, PlayStation Plus with its extra and premium tiers, and Nintendo Switch Online. But there are even more on PC. As soon as I see an entire catalog open up before me, I am compelled to look through the entirety of it, taking note of all the games I'd like to play. Because I want to make the most of my money, I end up strategizing about how I'm going to approach it, so that I get to play all the best ones before they leave the service. Back in 2023. First, I'm going to play Dragon Quest XI, because really, it's about time I played a Dragon Quest game. Then, I'm going to play Star Ocean: The Divine Force. Wait, no, I don't want to burn out on Star Ocean before Star Ocean: The Second Story R releases. Okay, Dragon Quest XI from the subscription, purchase The Second Story R, then Final Fantasy XII from the subscription, again to avoid burning out on Star Ocean, and then The Divine Force, also from the subscription. Oh shoot! Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Dragon's Dogma 2 will probably be out by then. One day, I will get around to Star Ocean: The Divine Force. Wait, the Elden Ring DLC is coming out soon. It never ends! And it brings with it a certain amount of pressure to make sure I'm not taking too long on any one game. I do my best to ignore these nagging thoughts, but they do show up from time to time and put a damper on the whole experience. I could probably stand to be more ruthless with subscriptions. For the time being, I have PlayStation Plus Extra and Nintendo Switch Online, and that's more than enough for me. I can feel them pulling on my attention and my intention, and sometimes it really feels like a battle fending off that pull. I try to make conscious decisions about how I spend my time, whether it's on individual game purchases or games in a subscription. Even if that means I'm not getting the absolute best bang for my buck with my subscriptions, that's okay. Time over money. When it comes to new releases, I have complicated feelings. On the one hand, if it's a game I've been eagerly awaiting, I don't want to wait longer than I have to, of course not. On the other hand, with rising game prices and the fact that significant patches are no longer a rarity, but business as usual, it's harder for me to feel confident that I'm making a good choice picking up a brand new game. Some games end up seeing significant changes in performance, gameplay mechanics, and sometimes even story after release. I don't have time to go through an entire game again to get the intended experience. Whatever's there when I play it, that will be my experience. Knowing that patches like this are so common, I'm more inclined to wait a few months to let the game settle. This way I can feel more confident that I'm playing a mostly refined version. At least until a definitive edition comes out years later. A huge part of living intentionally for me is managing my money carefully. If I can save a significant amount of money by simply being patient and waiting, that's a pretty good deal. We are already spoiled for choice. There's no need to rush. There are other incredible games to play in the meantime. Better yet, I should just take a walk, read a book, show a friend some appreciation. Games are wonderful, but they can't be everything. While this is not held as true for the Switch in particular, historically consoles do see discounts, especially around certain times of the year. Again, patience reigns supreme. Even the Steam Deck has seen sales. Combine that with the wild game sales on Steam, and you're looking at major savings over time. Just one of the many reasons I love my Steam Deck so. But, I totally bought a PS5 as soon as I could at full price. Being patient is hard. Hey, at least I use credit card points to cover most of it. That's gotta count for something. When I play a game, I often want to see everything it has to offer. The developers put a lot of work into bringing it to life, and I want to see what they envision. Remember how I play a lot of long JRPGs? This is where my desire to see everything can bite me in the butt. Hard. Not every game stays as enjoyable in hour 85 as it was in hour 10, and I have to remind myself that I don't have to do everything. Even if I didn't get the ultimate ending in Shin Megami Tensei 5, I still played that gem for around 100 hours and had a blast. I didn't force myself to keep pushing after I got my regular ending. It had already become one of my favorite games in recent years. My one playthrough was enough. Trophies and achievements can be a fun way to find more objectives in a game I've already beaten, but there's a fine line between play and chores. As soon as I see myself losing sight of the enjoyment in a game, I try to refocus on the things that matter most as quickly as I can. Between all the subscription services, the new releases around every corner, and the mind-blowing length of games these days, things get unmanageable pretty quickly. To bring myself back down to earth, I go through more or less the same pattern of questions when I'm considering buying a game or game hardware. And here they are. Will I be able to start playing it within the next couple of months? If not, I might as well focus on what I already have and wait to see if it gets a decent sale closer to when I can start playing it. Is it reasonable to expect that I will get a substantial amount of joy from this game or piece of hardware? If this isn't a pretty clear yes, I usually move on. Unless I am specifically going out of my way to try something new, something more experimental for me. I've been pleasantly surprised at times by going in with the experiment perspective. Would it require more time of me than I can comfortably commit to it? If this is a yes, I'm out. That's a complete non-starter. Sorry, MapleStory. I'll always love you. Is there a special reason to buy it right now? If there's no major reason in favor of an immediate purchase, this is where I get to work on my patience. Occasionally, I'll give in to social pressure and grab a multiplayer game immediately, and I do that intentionally to create opportunities to speak with friends. I'm spending my money for the social experiences just as much as I am for the game itself. If I can get a particular game on Steam Deck or Switch, even better. Both allow me to fit my gaming time into small windows of opportunity that usually aren't long enough for anything particularly productive. Even shorter sessions of 10 to 15 minutes can often tide me over well enough to let me focus on other areas of my life for the rest of the day. Sometimes my days get pretty full, and getting a taste of a game I'm really enjoying early in the day before everything gets moving in earnest, it just puts me in a good place and makes my day a little better. As much as I love games, when my time on this plane is up, I want to look back on my life and see more than just games. I want to enjoy games and the rest of life. Work pursuits, social experiences, family, hobbies, all that good stuff. I can get pretty intense tunnel vision when it comes to my passions, which is why creating and maintaining balance in my life matters so much to me. Admittedly, doing more than playing games still takes a lot of effort for me, but I'm getting better at it with time. Beyond making sure I'm asking myself the right questions before spending my money, I try not to play more than 2 games at the same time. Once I hit 3, I start thinking about how long it's been since I played each, and it starts to feel a little like a responsibility as opposed to a leisure activity. By making intentional choices about how I spend my time and money, I remove the self-imposed pressure to constantly make progress through my games. And that creates space for other meaningful things in my life. The schedule for upcoming games does not dictate my calendar. I do. And I think this mindset shift is one of the reasons I sometimes ignore my subscriptions completely to focus on 1 or 2 games I've purchased individually. This comes with the nice bonus that deciding between 2 is far less mental load than 200. My childhood self would probably flip if he heard me say this, but there's more to life than games. And I'm going to keep telling myself that until all of this starts to feel more effortless. Now, if you'll excuse me, I see my Steam Deck beckoning. If you want to learn more about why I'm such a fan of the Steam Deck, check out the video on screen. But before you go, I'd love to hear from you. What have your struggles with our favorite pastime looked like? Let me know in the comments. Remember to subscribe for more and to give the video a like to tell the world there's value here. Now go find some fun. Peace.